Okay, so we have gone over with an hour-long video. We've gone through Arlecchino. Now it's time for Nevi. And it is a genuine question to ask. Did Nevi get too strong with Xilonen? It is genuinely an issue that Nevi is so strong now. We have to be like coming up on some massive power creep, right? There is no way that Nevi is going to stay this strong. Now, Mualani did also get a buff through this, right? So 77, 78, 80, bro. 80,000. And he just continues. And, you know, Kazuha's buff and I guess Fiorina's buff also. Honestly, Kazuha, it's crazy to say, but Kazuha's the weakest link of this team just because of how, just due to the way that the team functions, he just doesn't really, he holds everyone else back because we can't, like, decide, oh, let's keep Xilonen or let's keep Fiorina's buff active, right? We can't really do that. So I'm hitting 80,000 on my Nevi. Now imagine if I had a C1 Nevi. Like, instead of his weapon, I had C1. The damage bonus would go up by like another 20,000. It would be pretty insane. Like, I think Kazuha, just due to his massively like low duration, I feel like is what's holding this team back because I don't know. You saw like after the first rotation, we didn't really get a lot of the buffs, right? So we kind of ended up with like an empty sort of slot, right? It was kind of just, oh no, we have all this stuff active, but it didn't even like, we didn't even really gain anything, right? So like you saw there, like we went down in our effectiveness basically pretty fast, I would say. And it's something that doesn't necessarily happen on like a Zhongli setup, right? Something that we can do to avoid that effectiveness drop is instead of using the Q skill with Xilonen and the Q skill with Kazuha, just use their E skills because they would both function decently well with their E skills, right? So now we're going to test out with just Kazuha to show what we do just regularly, right? So we could have this and let's go ahead. Let's grab Fiorina. Fiorina is the only character on this team who technically really like wants her burst. Also, I've kind of messed up because I was supposed to do this beforehand, but no, I guess we didn't. All right, so 56, right? So we're going from 56 to like 80,000, man. Like, you know, it's pretty insane. And then, you know, 51 still. We're still at 51, right? That's, you know, not bad, right? I can't. It's really, really crazy to see how insane of a difference that is. Now, we can even go as far to take off Xilonen or take off Kazuha. And we can even go as far to take off Kazuha and go for Xilonen instead, just so we can, you know, see that rotation. And I mean, that's still going to be very, very much so insane. I think the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab... It did it again, bro. You know by now, I've talked about it basically in every single video recently. The Zhongli will randomly just decide, I don't really feel like holding my E-skill here. I don't really feel like doing that. So he just taps his E-skill instead. So let's go ahead, do that. What? Let's go ahead and not have... Let's go ahead. No issue. I'm holding E. Guys, I'm holding E. I'm holding E. I don't get it. All right. I'm just going to press W. We're going to walk forward to the guy and then hold E. What? Okay. I think now seeing that so many times, I think what I can tell now is that we need to wait for it to start the challenge first. I think that's what's interrupting us. That is a very weird way. Yeah. And then, yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we can start off with this, which is just going to allow us to have our buffs for way longer, right? So, yeah, very, very easy to have our buffs up now with, you know, 55,000. Basically, same buffs as Kazuha. And the reason for that being is because, well, it's just basically the same team as Kazuha also. And we can also do this, you know. We can't actually see buff differences because, you know, he's doing his little shaking booty dance, right? But we can see 55,000. It's basically the same as Kazuha, but we have resistance on this team still. Or not still, but we have resistance on this team. We have double Geo and double Hydro. Like, this is just another option for the Nevi team. Now, Vape Nevi has existed, but the thing is, you were never able to reach these heights with that little effort, right? There is very little effort going into the Nevi team where you're just, you know, have Kazuha and Xilonen all just insanely buffing him, right? It's just no effort. It's just simple, do this, and then you're done. That's it's easy as that. right? So let's go ahead. Let's grab all this stuff. All right. Boom, boom. All right, cool. I did actually want to try and not use their buffs like that. So 68,000, 71, 77. And I would have preferred if my Nevi had some more ER. That is one thing that my Nevi kind of struggles with. Well, not really struggles with, but when he doesn't complete a full rotation, that is something that I notice is something that he misses or lacks, right? So let's go ahead and see as if we're just using our E-skills. So Nevi, so Xilonen, Kazuha, we're just going to go full on, just let them go ahead, use their E-skills, no burst animations needed. Let's just see how insane this can get, right? So 77,000, or 77, or not 77, 70,000, 130, right? So this is because Xilonen didn't heal, basically. That is the entire reason for why the damage number is lower. And then at this point, we're probably running out of a couple buffs like, Fiorina and stuff. I am noticing weirdly that the durations aren't exactly that great. Like Nevi, I feel like before I used this team, right, the durations were fine, right? You have Zhongli, probably because Zhongli is used first or, second, whichever one. And then you just have Kazuha and Fiorina, so it's a less of a gap between the durations. Whereas I feel like Fiorina's buff, it goes away very fast now because you are using two characters, just, doing their animations, on doing all the stuff. And yeah, overall, I don't know. It's a little weird. You can also use Favonius on, I guess these are 3 sword users. So Xilonen, she can use Favonius. Kazuha, he can use Favonius. All right, so let's see. 67,000, 70,000. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, it's just, yeah, let's grab that. And then let's hit him with this. Fiorina's burst is already active. Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like, I mean, we're still doing, all right, Fiorina's burst is ready to be used, and we were still doing 50,000 damage is how good this team is, right? Whereas before, with Kazuha, Zhongli, Fiorina, we're hitting 50,000, like, at the start, right? Whereas this, we start losing buffs, and we're at 50,000. Like, that's pretty insane, right? So, overall, I would say very insanely strong, and do I think that it's too much of a buff for Nevi, right? Because this guy was already #1 in the game, right? Very, very many people consider this guy #1. No, like, competition at all. Like, he is just way too good in AoE and still also really good for bosses that it just becomes like he dominates the game and there's nothing else to worry about, right? And now he's gotten an even bigger buff, and assuming that you have a C1, you don't really notice a difference, right? Because Zhongli, the main thing that he would provide to Nevi is interruption resistance. And that is what, this C1 would give him, just flat out enough interruption resistance to just tank a hit, right? So yeah, I would say that Nevi certainly is strong, but I don't think that it's too strong. It's not a singular buff for Nevi, right? Every single other character got some sort of buff, or at least the ability to use Xilonen as an option for them, right? Because characters who didn't want Kazuha already didn't want Kazuha, and they probably don't want Xilonen either, unless they're a Geo character, right? Xilonen works pretty well with Geo characters. So overall, I don't think that Xilonen's release makes Nevi too strong and gaps the rest of the game, just because everyone else kind of got access to Xilonen also, and she's not really that much crazier, right? The thing is, you need Nevi C1, and I like comparing characters with their C1 or R1, and if I'm looking at the damage for C1 Nevi right now, I would assume it's like 10k higher than what I'm doing, and it has interruption resistance, but that's just assuming. I'm not going into the calculator, website to, figure out what my Nevi would be doing, but I definitely do think that Nevi is probably the singular most buffed character, because I mean, guys, you could look at it. Like, there is no other character who actually got like a 30% or 50% damage increase, right? We went from like 50,000 to 80,000. That is 30,000 damage. That is a 60,000, or not 60,000. That is a 60% increase of damage, I'm pretty sure, right? It's 30k versus 50k, and that, 60% of 50k. That is how insane this is, right? That is how insane this is. I think Nevi is absolutely the character that benefited most from Xilonen, which definitely makes her sort of gap the game. But I do think that there is also more Natlan 5-star characters or DPS characters that are going to come out and are going to benefit from Xilonen's Night Soul Burst whenever that triggers. Because I didn't realize this at the time. Yeah, it's this, I think. trigger an effect equal to that of her Night Soul Burst, right? And that technically counts as a stack for passives like Kenich's and Mualani's stacks, which is this, basically. You know, if you trigger a Night Soul Burst, you gain 1 stack. So if Xilonen is in the party with Kenich for whatever reason, you get 320% of his attack for that first, you know, canopy shot, right? So that is a very, very good, oh, I need to actually work on crowning this guy because he is worth it. But, you know, that is something like this definitely is a passive that we're going to see on basically every single character. And I'm going to be honest, I'm assuming the Pyro Archon is going to work great with Xilonen. I think that they are probably going to be a great duo character. And I think, you know, Xilonen is cool. Now, one thing I want to say is I haven't actually tried to double element with Xilonen, right? I was talking about, you know, before her release that Xilonen, you know, Electrocharge, you may be able to get double element. I'm probably, I'll test that in my own time. I don't think that I'm going to do it on a video, but, you know, we'll have to see. I don't necessarily think that it's going to work. People like the longer videos, so I figured, sure, we'll go ahead and we'll just quickly throw up a team real quick of this. So let's go ahead and throw up a team of this. I want to see. We're just simply going to sort of do a, you know, nice little rotation here. Then we're going to do this, then we'll grab that, then this. All right. So, biggest things that we're looking for here is Electro damage bonus and Hydro damage bonus. I can already tell you we didn't get the Hydro. We got Electro. That is certainly something. That, I feel like that's weird. Like, why would we not get the Hydro? Like, I did not expect us to get... I expected us to get the Hydro and not the Electro. So, if we get the Hydro... If we get the Electro on doing the first couple of hits, I have an idea on how to get the Hydro, right? So we'll do this, right? E-skill, ... Then we'll grab this. Then we'll do this. And let's grab this. And we have successfully done Electro and Hydro. Yep. So it is a possibility. All right. It is a possibility. You just have to figure out your prioritization, right? That is all it is. You just got to figure out, you know, in an Electrocharge team, Electro is going to be absorbed first, so you can go ahead or use your Hydro character first, like Fiorina. That's a great example of a character that would most certainly be used first, and that would work. So, you know, it's a little weird to tack this onto a Nevi video, but I guess it does matter for Nevi, because Nevi can be used in Electrocharge teams. Like, getting the damage bonus plus the res reduction with multiple, you know, elements definitely is a thing that, you know, it works absolutely. Xilonen, she's not a character who's going to struggle for energy either, so that is a very, well, that is a thing. That is a thing, because you're going to be using one E-skill that's just not going to regenerate energy for your burst because it's already going to be full. Unless it's not, then I guess you wouldn't. So either way, you should be fine. You should. Maybe it's not that super repeatable. And it is also a case of you can probably use your burst actually instead to proc the Electro or the Hydro the first time. Yeah, honestly, yeah, it works. It does work. You'll have to figure out certain team comps that'll actually do it. And I do think that maybe Chloride would be one of those team comps. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.